More FPL. With Gameweek 9 fast approaching, it's time to look at the main captaincy candidates. It's a harder decision than it has been recently, and there's a number of players to consider. The usual suspects have tricky fixtures on paper, so maybe it's even a week for a differential. First, let's discuss options for Man City, who beat Wolves 3-0 in Gameweek 8. Haaland got what's fast becoming his customary goal, and he still hasn't blanked so far this season. It's now 11 goals and 1 assist for the big Norwegian, and he's also scored on international duty. Rotation is often a mild concern, but there's a 5-day gap between Norway's game and City's next. A rest may come at some point with the packed schedule, but almost certainly not this week. Also, the only time he seems to come off the pitch is when City are well ahead. De Bruyne's in good form with 3 assists in the last 2 games and is top scoring midfielder overall. He's not immune to rotation though, as he was benched against Forest in Gameweek 5. Their opponents Man United have recovered from a difficult start to win 4 in a row in the league. They've been particularly solid defensively, getting 2 clean sheets and conceding just twice. This is in spite of 2 out of 4 of those games being against good teams in Liverpool and Arsenal. City have only played teams now in the bottom half of the table, apart from Newcastle. But they have thrashed Sevilla and beaten Dortmund in their 2 Champions League games so far. If they do get 1 or 2 goals, you'd expect Haaland to be involved, so he's still a good option. From City, it's hard to look past Haaland for De Bruyne or Cancelo, unless you think he won't start. More FPL. Next, let's discuss options from Spurs, who've enjoyed a good start to the season so far. They sit 3rd in the table after 7 games, level with Man City, and just behind leaders Arsenal. Kane has 6 goals and 2 assists, only blanking somewhat surprisingly on the opening day. Only Haaland has more points than him, though some teams have played a game less. Son's had a very poor start to the season, but got a hat-trick off the bench against Leicester. It was his first return, and Leicester have been awful, so maybe we should hold fire for now. But he should at least be back in the starting lineup this week, and looking to build on that. If he can rediscover last season's form, he'll be back in the captaincy conversation every week. No one else from Spurs has really stood out, but perhaps Perisic does still have Hall potential. Even before Leicester, Spurs averaged 2 goals per game, despite looking solid but unspectacular. Their opponents Arsenal are still top of the league after thrashing Brentford in Gameweek 8. They've done well defensively overall so far, conceding just 1 goal per game on average. They did get beaten 3-1 by a counter-attacking Man United side, and Spurs may set up similarly. In that scenario, perhaps Son could be a good shout if he really has found some form. North London derbies have seen plenty of goals recently, so this could be a game to target for attacking players. I don't own Kane, but if I did, I'd certainly at least consider him over Haaland for captaincy. I'd need to see a couple more returns at least from Son before backing him. More FPL. Next, let's discuss options from Arsenal, who've also averaged over 2 goals a game so far. Attacking returns have been spread out, and there's a few different options you could consider. Jesus picked up another goal against Brentford, and now has 4 goals and 3 assists in 7 games. It's a long time since his 19 points against Leicester in Gameweek 2, so he's not often been explosive. There's a number of options in midfield, with Saka actually in the best form after a slow start. He's got at least 1 return in the last 4 games, and 1 goal and 5 assists overall. Saliba is Arsenal's top point scorer, and is actually top point scoring defender overall. He's got 2 goals and 1 assist, as well as 3 clean sheets as part of a good defence. Their opponents Spurs have also done well defensively, conceding just 1 goal per game on average. But some of the same arguments as above could lead you to captain an attacking player from Arsenal. If I was going to captain someone from Arsenal, it'd be the form attacking player in Saka. I'll probably not do that over Haaland or Kane though, as the points are more spread around in general. Another team we have to consider is Liverpool against apostleless Brighton, despite patchy form. After the Man United defeat, 2 wins against Bournemouth and Newcastle were followed by a draw against Everton. Salah's still their top point scorer this season, but has been inconsistent, blanking in half the games. He also seems to be in a more creative role and has 3 assists versus 2 goals so far. With their relative struggles this season, perhaps Klopp will try and get him closer to goal. If you own Salah, there won't be too many opportunities to consider him over Haaland, and this could be one. Luis Diaz looks to be the next most nailed attacking player on the left, and would be a differential pick. He got 2 goals in the Bournemouth thrashing, but only has 1 goal apart from that. Firmino's done well, but it's hard to predict who will play between him, Núñez and Jota. The defence has also been leaky and not up to standard attacking-wise, even Trent. Their opponents Brighton have looked good so far this season and thrashed Leicester last time out. But they may struggle without Potter, even though the new manager comes with a decent reputation. If I own Salah, I'd be very tempted to captain him, but he hasn't looked the same this season. I don't think I'd consider anyone else in Liverpool at this stage, but feel they will recover longer term. More FPL. With there being no standout captain this week, could it be worth considering some differentials? Tony blanked last week, but got a hat-trick before that and faces Bournemouth this week. He's only just behind Kane in the scoring charts with 5 goals and 2 assists overall. Despite sitting 12th, Bournemouth conceded the second most in the league, largely due to the Liverpool game. Sterling blanked last week, but got 3 goals in the 2 games before that and faces Palace this week. They've been okay defensively though, and it may take a while for Potter to get his ideas across. A draw against Salzburg isn't a great start with Sterling as an attacking wing-back, but it's early days. Mitrovic blanked last week, but is in good form overall, with 6 goals so far this season. He got a hat-trick in the first international break game and doesn't appear to be injured, despite initial rumours. They're up against Newcastle this week, who've been pretty solid defensively so far. A match you'd normally look out for is Leicester, and maybe go for an attacking player against them. But there's no one that stands out from Forest to take advantage of their awful defensive form. Overall then, Haaland looks to be the frontrunner, despite a tricky-looking fixture in the Manchester derby. None of the other big hitters have standout easy fixtures, so Haaland looks like the most likely player to return. If I didn't want to go Haaland, it'd probably have to be Salah, or maybe Kane. I don't think any of the differentials have a strong enough case, though perhaps Tony at Bournemouth. Thank you so much for watching, I really appreciate it. Give it a like if you enjoyed it. Who do you plan to captain this week, and has this video helped you make your decision? Add your own thoughts and questions in the comments, and I'll try to get through as many as I can. Never miss a pre-season video or game week preview by subscribing and turning on notifications. More FPL.